Welcome back and thank you so much for staying with us. Now, the How Well Do You Know Namibia Challenge is a national competition that brought Namibians together to celebrate knowledge, culture and identity as the country marked 36 years of independence on the 21st of March, this last Saturday. Now, joining me in studio is Iyaloo Hamata, the brand coordinator who was behind the competition, to unpack how the competition actually went, who the winners were and the impact of the show as well. Very good evening to you. Welcome back to Daily Roundup.
Thank you. Thank you so much, John.
Absolutely. Well, talk to us first of all about your impression or the results behind, after the competition actually came to an end.
Well, I think the competition went pretty well. It was exciting. Initially, we wanted 24 teams, which consisted of 96 people, basically, foreign team. But we managed to get 18 teams of young, youthful, energetic Namibians who came together to participate. So, yeah, I think it went pretty well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's quite a unique activity that you, of course, launched here to celebrate knowledge, culture and identity. Quite interesting indeed. Let's talk about the prizes that were up for grabs initially when you started. What are some of them that you actually had, and what did the winners walk away with at the end of the competition?
Well, we had great sponsors that I'll mention a bit later as we get the conversation going. But there were some great prizes up for grabs. There was a scholarship by Platonic Academy, there was shopping vouchers, there was airtime, there was accommodation vouchers, there were restaurant and accommodation again vouchers. So we had some really, really good sponsors that came on board and they gave away real good prices. But like I said when I was here last week, the real prize wasn't the actual prize of airtime vouchers. It was the price of a Namibian being patriotic and talking passionately about this country that they love so much and know so much about, actually.
Yeah. How did that make you feel, of course, especially interacting with your fellow Namibians as we mark 36 years of independence, just, seeing the pride that they also have in also just participating and also being patriotic, in this activity that you had?
For me, it really made me feel like, as a country, we're ready to position Namibia out there.
Yeah.
There's a lot that we thought, this cards are going to be difficult, but the Namibians just kept throwing the clues and everyone kept talking about it. And for me, it's also the fact that we're ready to tell our story, because remember, the world is listening and they're listening to whatever we are saying. That's what the world picks up.
Yeah.
If we consistently and persistently keep talking positively about our country in all the rooms we found ourselves, whether it's online, whether it's in communities, whether it's in boardrooms or wherever, that we're able to really sell the Namibian story, because that story starts with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, totally. It actually starts where we are.
Yeah.
And speaking of location-wise, of course, you started only in Windhoek. Perhaps talk to us about your plans to expand it across the country and perhaps also beyond, if those are also in the can. And also your overall response from the public as well. Let's start there. The overall response from the public and audiences who also followed the competition.
So the idea was not to actually have the full public there, because you know how 30 seconds goes, because the 36 seconds How Well Do You Know Namibia Challenge was inspired by the 30 seconds concept. So because we were live, we wanted less people in the room and more people online. So we got I think we got quite a fair amount of views. We got over 3,000 views on the stream. And we also got some interaction, and we also got calls from Namibians asking about how do they get involved, how do they sponsor, how do they get the game for educational purposes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And of course, this is a first of its kind, at the scale, or rather at a platform that it's hosted at. Perhaps talk to us about, this being perhaps, not only a independence thing, but also a Namibian thing throughout.
Yeah, so that's why we kept calling it 36 seconds of How Well Do You Know Namibia movement. We don't want it to be an event. We saw independence a good day to peg it to.
Yeah.
But going forward, we are still busy trying to craft how we want to roll it out, but the idea is that it becomes a movement and it doesn't just become an event, but more of a movement to get to involve fellow Namibians that are also outside of the city. This was the trial. We wanted to trial it in the heart of Windhoek, in Zoo Park, because also Windhoek is the capital city. And yeah, we really want to roll it out and perhaps make it a yearly thing.
Absolutely, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Let's talk about branding. From a branding perspective, of course, you are looking at an impact of, if you really believe that this competition had an impact on promoting Namibia, Namibia's identity and pride. What's your thoughts on that? Do you believe that this game actually promoted Namibia's brand and identity through asking a series of questions?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, for everyone that was at the venue and those that were watching from home, obviously when a card was read or a clue was read, obviously everyone was searching. And in that you are learning. Because I remember I said we wanted to celebrate independence in a different way.
Yeah.
Learning our history, telling our story, talking about our culture, our people, our heroes, how far we've come as a country, and really just teach. So we know and we believe that even if you've not learned everything, you've learned a thing or two.
Absolutely.
And hoping that prompts you to really go back to those history books that you left dusted when you left grade 7.
Absolutely, and that's the beauty of it, especially that it involves both young and old.
Yeah.
Nobody's really left out. Both young and old people get to, kind of play the game as well. How does that make you feel, that you don't leave anyone out when playing this game?
So one, we had an age limit, age gap. There was an age limit there from 18 to 45 years. That was our first trial. But the questions are really, I can't say easy, but they're moderate, and that even below 18 and above, obviously above 45, would still be able to answer.
Yeah.
So when we do go back to our brainstorm session of how we want to move forward with this movement, we're definitely going to factor that so that we teach the nation at large and not just that specific age group, basically.
Absolutely. That's great. Let's talk about the future plans as well as we round up. What are your future plans for how well do you know Namibia? Of course, the Namibia 36 movement as well, if I say that correctly. What is your plan on how we can, of course, then, unite Namibians in such manners, in such competitions, in such activities to, promote Namibia and also just to celebrate our patriotism through activities such as that?
So one, we are open for sponsorships, but mainly partnerships from individuals, from organizations. We want to make it big. And like I said, we are going back to the brainstorm session to see how we can roll it out and ensure that all Namibians are aware of this game. And this game is made available to them as well. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Looking forward to that and looking forward to the success of How Well Do You Know Namibia. Thank you so much, Iyaloo, for being here. Congratulations on the well-done activity. Of course, we wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you so much, John. If I also may, I just really want to send a shout-out to the group of young Namibians that we worked with. They're called the Young Diplomats Network. It's a network of young Namibians who share the same vision and are interested in anything diplomacy, anything international relations, and they're just gearing themselves up to know about what's happening in the diplomacy space. They met with us, we brainstormed, and we came up with this beautiful idea together. But not only that they came as a partner, they actually did very well for young Namibians who put in all the effort. So shout out to the Young Diplomats Network of Namibia and also to our sponsors, if I may mention our sponsors who really came on board short notice but saw the value in having this or creating this initiative. So shout out to MTC, NBC, Modal, Virtual Technologies, APS, the City of Windhoek, of course, Beyond Concierge, Namibia Tourism Board, Platonic Academy, Ongula Lodge, Bashu App, Student Stay, and Nafimane Halwendo, legal practitioners. So to those are the people, or those are the entities that made it possible. And not to leave out our direct partners, the Namibia Investment Promotion and Development Board, the Ministry of Information, Communication and Technology, and the Ministry of Environment, Forestry and Tourism.
Absolutely. We can only hope that this list gets longer. And of course, that's great support. Of course, I have gotten from your stakeholders. We wish you nothing but the best, really. And of course, still hoping to see that, this becoming much bigger and better.
Hoping for the same. And I'm actually very positive that it will.
Definitely. Iyaloo Hamata is the brand coordinator behind the competition. How well do you know Namibia? A challenge that took place just last Saturday on the 21st of March, of course, celebrating that is knowledge, culture and identity when the country turned, or rather marked, 36 years of independence. You're watching the Daily Roundup on NBC. Be right back with another engagement. Just do it.